Who killed Tina Lauser? On January 30th, 1981, Tina Marie Lauser left her job at a bank in Wilmington, Delaware to go on a snack run, but she never returned. On March 29, 1981, fishermen found her body under a wooden bridge 3 miles south of Port Penn. Tina was 25 years old and married to 35-year-old Thomas Lauser. Together, they had a 1-year-old daughter named Kyron. Tina and Thomas were both deaf and in fact had met at the Wilmington Club for the Deaf, located at the corner of South Van Buren and Beach Street in Wilmington, Delaware. They met in December of 1977 and were married on September 7, 1978. Unfortunately, they separated 9 months later. Tina worked as a proof operator at the Bank of Delaware at 300 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington. She was described as a very dependable and observant employee. While Tina's spoken vocabulary was basic and sometimes difficult to understand, her coworkers said it was easy to communicate with her using sounds and gestures. Tina could also read lips and use sign language. Tina's job entailed verifying hundreds of thousands of teller transactions each week. A typical workday started at 1 p.m. with a dinner break around 4 p.m. There were many days that Tina made snack runs for the other employees. Sometimes these snack runs would be to the snack shop in the bank lobby, while other times Tina would leave the bank and go to the nearby Mini Mart. While Mondays through Thursdays were typical work hours, Tina and her co-workers knew that Fridays were always going to be late nights and that they may not get off work until midnight. On Fridays, Tina's department would handle the transactions from all the bank branches in the county, as well as transactions from 5 downstate branches. The investigation began. On Friday, January 30th, 1981, just before she went on her 30-minute break, Tina ran the totals on her machine to ensure she wouldn't have to start from scratch if the machines broke down while she was gone. At 7:15 p.m., Tina grabbed her coat and wallet and started to leave the office with 2 other coworkers to get snacks. Then a phone started ringing and one of the coworkers answered the call while the others stopped and waited. Tina continued to walk out without them, which her coworkers say was just her style. Tina was due back at 7:45 p.m. Her supervisor began to worry at 7:55 p.m. when Tina hadn't yet returned. Tina was known for being very punctual. They did a quick search around the building and parking lot, and then called the police at 8:15 p.m. The police arrived 30 minutes later and said there was little they could do because Tina was of age and could leave whenever she wants. A few hours later, at 1 a.m. early Saturday morning, police found Tina's car, a blue 1977 Pontiac Astra, at Park Place and Van Buren Street in Wilmington, about 200 feet from the Mini Mart. It had a flat tire, the keys were in the ignition, and there was no sign of a struggle. The car was located on the route that Tina would have taken to the Mini Mart. Police, at this time, believe she never made it there. Later that weekend, hunters found Tina's wallet 3 miles south of Port Penn near Delaware 9. Searchers found checks from her checkbook, wind-blown and scattered along Delaware 9, from Port Penn to the Augustine Beach area. Some of Tina's credit cards were found bent and mutilated. Tina's shoes were found in the middle of the ice on a frozen pond. They were wiped clean of mud and had been placed neatly side by side. According to a family member, there were scuff marks on the heels as if Tina had been dragged. A further inspection of the car revealed that the tire had been flattened intentionally. Police said a caller, whom they did not name, told them about an unidentified woman seen in Tina's car the night she disappeared. The woman was seen communicating with Tina using sign language, while Tina put $5 worth of gasoline into her vehicle. The Arco AM/PM Mini Mart is located at 1022 Delaware Avenue in Wilmington. It is currently a Shell gas station. The gasoline purchase was typical for her. The unidentified woman was also seen leaving the store with Tina in her vehicle. This is the last time Tina was seen alive. Witnesses who saw this woman helped investigators create a sketch. The sketch was then hung on the Wilmington Club for the Deaf's bulletin board, but nobody seemed to recognize her. On March 29, 1981, about 3 miles south of Port Penn on Delaware 9, fishermen found her body. She was floating face down in 6 feet of water under a wooden bridge. The body, bound and weighted with a cinder block, was clothed in a light blue ski jacket and blue jeans, and was found near where Tina's personal items were found. An autopsy revealed that the cause of death was massive internal hemorrhage due to stab wounds of the neck with perforation of the trachea. There was also a stab wound of the left chest with perforation of the aorta. Police wouldn't elaborate on the number of wounds. A family member said she also had multiple shallow stab wounds on her back, as if she'd been made to walk with someone behind her with a knife. It is believed that she'd been killed around the same time that she disappeared. As police questioned friends and family, they learned that Tina and Thomas's marriage was troubled from the beginning. Thomas was known to flirt with other women, and Tina became upset about this flirting and his frequent drinking. There were also rumors about physical abuse, and one of Tina's co-workers noticed bruises on her upper arms. When he asked Tina what happened, she just shook her head and walked away. 9 months after they married, Tina and Thomas separated. Tina took their daughter and moved in with her sister Linda and Linda's husband, Greg Merritt. They all lived at the Garden Quarter Apartments on Kirkwood Highway in Wilmington, while Thomas resided in Chester, Pennsylvania, which was about 15 miles away. Tina and Thomas continued to date each other from the time they separated in 1979 until her disappearance in 1981. Their dates often included spending time at the Wilmington Club for the Deaf, as well as going on double dates with friends. At the time of her disappearance, Tina was pregnant, and according to Thomas, she was going to move in with him in March. He said he wanted to wait until she was 3 months pregnant. He didn't have a specific reason for that arbitrary time frame, except that it felt right. On January 28, Tina Lauser sent the last message to her husband Thomas using a teletype machine, and it read, "Hello, this is Tina Lauser. Where is Tom Lauser?" Tina was supposed to meet Thomas at the Wilmington Club for the Deaf after work on the night she disappeared, January 30th, but she never showed up. Thomas claims the last time he saw Tina was on January 25th, 5 days prior to her disappearance. Thomas said they argued frequently even while they were separated, but that he still loved her and was looking forward to her moving back in with him. As for the abuse, he said that he had hit Tina early in the marriage, but it was for stupid reasons, and he didn't hit her too hard. He said she never hit him, and she always seemed scared. In the days after Tina vanished, Thomas's left hand was wrapped in bandages. He claimed the injury happened at his job where he worked as a machine hand at the Collingdale Millware Company in Pennsylvania. Law enforcement considers the unidentified woman who was seen with Tina to be a key to solving Tina's murder. The woman is described as white, 5 foot 4 inches tall, 20 to 25 years old, with a medium build and shoulder-length brown hair. She was wearing blue jeans and a green jacket. Despite the best efforts by law enforcement, the identity of the woman has never been determined. Her description didn't match any of Tina's friends or family members. Today, the case remains unsolved. If you have any information on the woman that was seen with Tina, or have any information about Tina's case, please contact Detective Mark Ride at 302-741-2730. His email is mark.ride, R-Y-D-E, at delaware.gov. Or you can submit a tip by contacting Crime Stoppers at 800-TIP-3333 or visit their website at www.delaware.crimestoppersweb.com. And here are my thoughts on the case. Tina worked at the Bank of Delaware, right here, that's this building, at 300 Delaware Avenue. And I have this route from the bank right down 10th Street. It's one way. And then it's one way down the side street right here that leads to the Arco Mini Mart right here. Okay, so she left the bank at around 7:15. Now, I don't know exactly where she was parked. A lot of the employees would take the opportunity on their break to move their car closer to the building, because when they got to work, it was during the busy work day. And then later at night, when most of the workforce in town goes home, there's openings for them to move closer to the building. So she could have been anywhere around in this area, but eventually would have driven down 10th Street and then taken Van Buren Street right here and headed to the Mini Mart. Now, what was interesting is that this is a one-way street. This is a one-way street going in this direction. This is a one-way street going in that direction. And you can see this by going down to Street View right here. And you can see the sign right here that says one way. So it's one way going this direction. I believe Tina's car was parked right in this spot right there. And then this street is also one way going towards us. And you can see right there that that's a one-way street. So when the police found her vehicle at 1 a.m., the night she went missing, right here, they assumed that she never made it to the Mini Mart because it was just short of getting there on a one-way street headed towards the Mini Mart. It's even stated on the route to the Mini Mart in the articles. But when a witness came forward later and said that Tina was seen at the Mini Mart with a female who was signing to her, and some people say that they look like they were having a heated exchange, and then that individual gets in the car with Tina and then they take off, it's interesting to note that the car is found right here. That means the car would have had to have left, either driven around this way and then parked here, or it could have left for hours and then was put back there later with a slashed tire to make it seem like it had never left the area. It could have been used to actually transport Tina's body to where she was eventually found and then put back there, and then the individual who abducted her from her vehicle already had a car parked in the area. So for example, if the woman was seen there, who was seen with her there, got into her vehicle and then took her somewhere, killed her, and then drove back, well, they probably have a vehicle in this area and then just parked her car there, slashed the tire, got into their vehicle and drove off. I mean, it also could have been that the vehicle was there. They forced Tina to drive around the block and then turn right here, maybe park here and then get into her vehicle. It's hard to say. It seems like that'd be a risky move given all these different homes right here. But the car was placed here either by force or intentionally parked here later because we know she made it to the Mini Mart. And then her body was found way down south of Port Penn, right down here underneath this bridge. And at one point, this bridge was a wooden bridge. One thing that was mentioned by a family member, it's not in the official autopsy report, was that there were shallow stab wounds to the back. We don't know if those stab wounds were created by someone standing behind her and forcing her to walk or for some other reason. Okay, we had a channel member once who mentioned that maybe she was forced to walk to the water holding the cinder block and then was then killed right by the water and then placed in the water. I mean, while that's possible, I don't know. We just don't know, and we don't even know exactly where she was killed. Another interesting thing are the shoes that were found cleaned and placed together on a frozen pond. I think that's just very interesting. That lends me to believe it was a female more than a male. I could see a female doing something like that. But why were the shoes placed in the middle of a frozen pond? I think it could very possibly be this pond right here. The family members met over here at the fire department to look at the shoes, and they said that they were found sort of near Port Penn here. So could very well be this pond here. You could definitely see somebody maybe driving down this road here and it's kind of secluded, and maybe this is where the killing actually took place, and they put the shoes out on the pond. But why would you do that? It's just very strange. Maybe they wanted people to think she was in this pond and threw people off from where she really was, but then why would you throw out her personal items up and down the highway leading right to that bridge? So, you know, you had the credit cards, the wallet was found in this area, and then her body ended up being right here as it floated to the surface after decomposition. Another thing that was interesting to me in the case are the comments by Thomas Lauser. You know, he admitting to hitting her, but, you know, that was early on, and, you know, they were light hits, you know, they didn't really cause any problems, he said. But, you know, interestingly, Tina's not alive to tell us how hard those were. There was the witness who said he saw that she had bruises on her arms at work. Okay, it's also interesting that he even mentioned it. It's almost like he knew that somebody might bring up abuse in some way, so he was trying to downplay it prior, and of course that's not going to be an accurate portrayal of it. I also find it strange that he said that she could move in after she was 3 months pregnant. So she wasn't quite 3 months pregnant yet. It almost feels like that was a timeline that he set for himself for some reason. I can definitely see that in this case, the people responsible for the death of Tina Lauser are people that are very close to her, at least one person very close to her. The sketch of the female that was seen at the Mini Mart looks very similar to someone that Thomas Lauser married after Tina. Okay, I'm not saying it is her, but that is interesting. Law enforcement definitely believes that the person in the sketch has knowledge of what happened to Tina. And I think that makes absolute sense. She never showed up to work after leaving the Mini Mart with that person. Tina is not somebody who wouldn't call and not show up to work. She just isn't that type of person. So that means that the person that she left with has direct knowledge of what happened to Tina Lauser. Nobody was able to identify who that was with any certainty. So I think the case is very interesting. I think it's one that maybe they need to test for DNA on those shoes. That's one item that you know that the killer touched and placed there. I don't know if they still have those shoes, but perhaps there's some touch DNA still left on those shoes. Unfortunately, they probably weren't found for a couple days, and being the winter time, there was probably some inclement weather out there, and who knows if that washed off any possible DNA. So those are some of the thoughts I had on this case, and I'd really appreciate your comments in the comment section of this video, and let me know what you're thinking, and then I can pass that on maybe to the sister who I've communicated with, and Tina's daughter that's actually mentioned in the articles and in the video. Now, if you like these types of videos, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and then hit all notifications. Also, if you could hit the like button, I would appreciate it, or the dislike, whatever you feel like. At least it's an engagement. Please leave a comment and let me know what you thought of the video and your thoughts on the case. I'd also like to thank Stacy Galloway for her help on the case, putting together the script for the first portion of it. We worked on it back and forth, and she is really easy to work with. She's also a great writer. She wrote a book called Death of Nine, the Dyatlov Pass Mystery. Now that's Dyatlov Pass Mystery for those of you who are out there. Try to say Dyatlov Pass 3 times fast. Yeah, I didn't think so. I know it's been a strange year out there, and I am hoping and I know that next year will be a much better year for absolutely everyone. If you celebrate Christmas out there, Merry Christmas, and I look forward to seeing you guys on my other channel, Gray Hughes Investigates, where I do a live show pretty much every single night of the week, including Saturday and Sundays, and I do that throughout the entire year. All right, so that is it. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.